Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to episode number 9 of the Going Solo podcast, the weekly podcast for solopreneurs who want to make life and business work for them and not the other way around. I'm Knight Dutkewich, corporate dropout turned business coach and someone who learned the extremely hard way what it actually takes to run a successful solo coaching business. Each week, I break down the real strategies, the mindset shifts, and yes, just a little bit of woo-woo to help you build a profitable business on your terms. Because it is not the market. It is not your toxic ex-boss. It's not even the algorithm. Boo algorithm. It is what is going on between your two ears. So today, we are talking about a fundamental business truth that almost nobody talks about. And when we don't master it, the cost is brutal. We don't make enough money to stay self-employed. We end up sacrificing our biggest visions for our lives and our dreams. And the awful to end all awful, we may end up back in a job that you hate. And what's even worse than ending up in a job that you hate, and that is that you don't get to live the calling of what you know you are meant to do. The work that could spare others, the suffering that only you know how to heal. The transformation only you can guide someone through. It is a crime to humanity. Not that I'm dramatic or into hyperbole, but it is a crime to humanity when we don't master this. And so today, my friends, we are going to fix it once and for all. One of my party tricks, and I have several, I'm very good at Twister. One of my party tricks is I can pretty much tell how much money you're making from the type of coaching or tagline or niche you do. So today I am looking at you beautiful people. If you are a clarity coach or a flow coach or a mindset coach, dear God, make it stop. Or anybody, or an imposter syndrome coach or any other coach or solopreneur wondering why the heck people aren't buying. Okay, it's not you. It's not you. Okay, so I have some beautiful, delicious and spicy home truths for you today, and it will probably sting a little, and I promise it will help a lot. Okay, so if you want a profitable business, and if you don't, go and collect stamps or horses or do jigsaws. But if you are in this to make money, making money is a beautiful thing. Good people can make good money. We can get in some good trouble and make good money. Okay, so if you want to make a profitable business, the number one principle you cannot ignore is it, and I actually have a post-it note on my desk in front of me that says, it is not about you. It is not about you. It is about them. And by them, I mean your people, your clients, your potential clients. Now, most coaches, most solopreneurs mess this up. That's why I have a giant sign that says, mine actually says it's not about you, Joe. Most coaches mess this up. I did too, and it cost me a fortune. A painful, long, drawn out, self-flagellating fortune. Okay, so somewhere, what are we in? It's almost May 2025. Somewhere along the way in this kind of post Instagram, TikTok and influencers worlds and this kind of online personal brands, we have got confused. We got hella confused about what actually makes money. Okay, now influencers they don't get paid to influence, they get paid to drive attention to platforms. Okay, so they are cashing in on typically ad deals, affiliate links, ultimately from their audience size, and they're not usually selling anything. Okay, unless eventually they tack on some merch line or some, I don't know, fabulous lip gloss later. But if you are a coach or a solopreneur, you, my friends, are playing an entirely different game. Really, really important. You are not playing the same game. You are not here, and you will not make money from being inspirational. And this is really interesting. So one of the biggest frustrations I hear from people all the time is the algorithm is so spicy on LinkedIn, and people feel like their content isn't being shown to many people. And then they get really frustrated because some motivational slap that is like on a side of a bus stop will go viral. Now here's the thing. The content that will go viral on social media platforms like LinkedIn, that are usually universal human truths we can all relate to, are not the same things that are going to make your money. So you can almost choose. You can choose whether you want to be a viral influencer who get lots of eyeballs on their content, or a profitable business owner who might only get 300 eyes on their content but makes money. So my average content on LinkedIn gets about 500 views. Most people would say that's pretty rubbish. I added 4 clients last week alone. Okay, I'm not out here trying to be an influencer. I don't have the jawline for it. I'm out here selling real solutions to real people who pay real money to solve real problems. Okay, stop thinking you're an influencer. You're not. Don't worry about the numbers. 300 of the right people in the right room looking at your content that resonates deeply with them is banging. Okay, so people don't pull out their cards for vibes or motivation. They pay to fix the things that are stressing them the heck out, slowing them down, or getting between them and what they most desire. And at the end of the day, there are only 4 things that people will pay money to solve. Okay, so write these down. There's only 4 things. The first thing is pain or suffering. Okay, now the reasons are probably pretty obvious, but pain is the fastest buying trigger. When people are in real physical, emotional, financial, spiritual pain, they aren't looking for something that's going to start to take effect in 6 to 9 months. It's like having a migraine and popping a vitamin D tablet. Is vitamin D good for us? Absolutely. We could all do with a bit more. You're going to need some Tylenol migraine relief. You won't make it. As someone that gets migraines, you won't make it. Okay. They are desperate for relief. So what could some examples this? It could be a coach panicking they're not making enough money. It could be a CEO having, I don't know, stress-induced arrhythmia and panic attacks because they're not going to meet their quarterly budget. It could be a new parent that is, a new parent of twins that is just unable to function or drive due to utter sleep deprivation. Okay. When your offers are painkillers, when you say, I can stop this pain, it becomes a need and not a maybe. Okay, so specific painkillers sell. I say this all the time. It is easier to sell painkillers than to sell vitamins. Are vitamins really, really good for you? Absolutely. Absolutely. I can't hack the headache anymore. I can't hack the headache. In the meantime of waiting for the vitamin D and the potassium to build up, which potassium helps with my headaches, I'm going to need some migraine relief. Okay. All right, so that's number 1, pain. Pain or suffering. Okay, now, so these are these 4 things are the psychological triggers of buying. I don't think I said that. I should have said that. So these 4 things are the psychological reasons we buy. So the first one is pain or suffering. And the second one, and this is kind of the sexier side of human psychology, and that is desire. Even the word is a bit sexy. Desire or aspiration. I don't know why I'm squinting at you. I'm trying to flirt through the screen. I got no moves. I've been married far too long. Okay, so desire or aspiration is the sexy side of human psychology. People want not just to fix problems, they want to become more, something bigger, better, freer, of more impact, of more possibility. And some examples could be, making six figures, landing a dream job where you work remotely for 20 hours a week. It could be, I've always wanted to run a marathon, kind of without the running part, but I love the idea of having achieved running a marathon. I need to get on that. And so when your niche promises, and because it's an identity thing, Jo's a marathon runner. She's not. She needs to be. So when your niche promises an identity upgrade, a kind of bigger, better, shinier version of ourselves, people will pay. People will pay. And so when you make that aspiration obvious and measurable, not kind of vague alignments, people will pay. Okay, so the third psychological trigger that people pay for is, the first one is fear and suffering. Second one is desire or aspiration. And the third one, convenience, is the new black. Convenience is the new luxury. Time, energy and attention are scarce. We are pulled from pillar to post. We are bombarded with messages and grapples for our attention, and people will gladly pay for anything that saves them time, energy and attention. Okay, so what could be some examples for coaches? So there is a huge market for done for you services. So I have a fabulous client, Evelyn. She is in Spain. She's an opera singer, and she runs epic retreats for coaches, and she helps coaches get more high ticket clients, build better relationships with clients and attract new clients, and kind of make more money in one weekend than you would do in a month, 2 months. And the wonderful thing about why Evelyn's business model is so attractive is because I would love to do a retreat, an overseas retreat. I would love to do that. And I don't want any of the work other than turning up and doing my thing. So that done for you service of a coach who offers epic retreats in Madrid for other coaches is very, very popular. Okay, so if you want a retreat, you do speak to Evelyn. I'll link her into this. Okay, virtual assistants. Just yesterday, I hired another member of staff. She lives on the same coast as I do, but she is, about 300 miles away. She is going to save me time, energy, and attention, and is ultimately going to help me make money. Okay, I am happy, and quite frankly was desperate to pay it. Meal prep or clothing services. There are very popular meal prep kits that will literally come portioned out and chopped and washed and prepped to your door, and all you have to do is kind of stir fry it and take the glory. There's a reason that has really taken off recently. It's because of convenience. It's to get our time, energy and attention back. Okay, we are buying back our freedom. So we're not outsourcing tax. The reason I spend so much money with the right business development people and assistants isn't because I'm outsourcing tasks. I am buying back my freedom. I will pay a lot of money to buy back my freedom. So when your service and solution can scream kind of less stress, less time, less hassle, or on the converse, more freedom, more time, more peace, it's very, very attractive. Okay, so that's a third psychological trigger. The fourth psychological trigger should not surprise you at all, and that is fear or uncertainty. Now, I speak about fear all the time. Fear is primal. It is primal and it's not going anywhere. It is a fundamental design of how humanity and human beings are wired. So when people are scared, and they will be, fear is the primary emotion that solopreneurs and coaches will face, in my opinion. So when people are scared of failure, of judgment, of rejection, of loss, they will pay for safety and certainty. So what can some examples be? So it's tax season, so avoiding being audited by the IRS or the CPA. People will pay for that. My middle son is about to go to university next year to study music. Securing a college fund. Thank goodness we did that 18 years ago. Preventing a business from flopping. If you can remove the risk or guarantee protection, you become the most obvious choice. There is a reason, and lots of people tell me I am bonkers for doing this, and I actually think they're wrong and not me. Shocker. There is a reason I guarantee 100% return on investment with my coaching. So if you do my full accelerator program, I 100% guarantee you will make your investment back. Now, why do I do that? I do it for two reasons. I do it because the first reason I actually do it is because I'm that confident in me and the program and who I choose. Okay, so that's the first reason I do it. So if you're not confident in you, your program, or who you choose, don't do that. Okay, and also you shouldn't be doing it. That's a whole other conversation. But the reason I do it is because I'm confident in me, the program, and who I choose. And most importantly, it removes the risk and the fear from the person investing in me. When people say no to working with you, or if people say no to working with me, I genuinely believe it isn't about us, because I don't doubt my results. I've got the receipts. What they're really doubting is their ability for them to get the results. Okay, so when people say no to you, it's not about you. It's that they don't think, for whatever reason, it's not that they don't trust you, it's that they don't trust themselves to get the results. Okay, that's a whole other thing, and we'll do another podcast. And so you want to position yourself as the shield that keeps them safe. But here's the problem. It is not enough just to solve anything. So it's not enough just to kind of speak to one of those four psychological triggers. You've also got to make sure that what you're selling is something that people are prepared to pay for. There are only four things on the planet that people will get out their credit card for. Okay? It's only four things. The first one is that it makes them or saves them money. Number one. Number two, they will pay for improving their health or overall well-being. Number three, relationships. They will pay for strengthening, developing, creating relationships. There's a reason online dating is big business. It's all about relationships and connection. And they will also pay for enjoyment and I don't like enjoyment particularly. It's fulfillment rather than enjoyments, but fulfillment and enjoyments. So you need both. You need one of those four psychological triggers. So it needs to be pain. We've got pain or suffering, number one. We've got aspiration or desire. We've got convenience, and then we've got fear. So it's really important you have to have that and the real world outcome that people value. So whatever your niche is, and when I say niche, like which specific tiny group of people do you help with what? The with what bit needs to solve an emotional driver, which is one of those psychological triggers. And it also needs to deliver a real world outcome people value. Better relationships, more money, improved health, increased fulfillment. You've got to have both of those. Lots and lots of coaches don't have either. It's like they don't have either. It's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? People aren't buying imposter syndrome training. So let's look at what people buy and what they don't buy. So look at some useful business models and not so useful business models for coaches. So if we look at pain and suffering, so that's the emotional trigger, is pain and suffering. What you don't want to do, and this is all over LinkedIn, is kind of, people will kind of say, I help women feel more zen, less stressed. Ugh, terrible, terrible. What you want to do is you want to help ambitious millennial women kind of come back from the brink of burnouts before it costs them the career they worked so hard for. So we've got the pain and suffering, we've got the aspiration, we've got the money in there as well. So like bing, 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 bing. The more you can get in there, the more money you will make. Okay, so that's sort of pain and suffering. And so think about aspiration. Lots of my clients that come to me in the first few weeks we work together, this is constantly where they find themselves. They are usually I work with highly intelligent people. They're usually quite spiritually open as well, a little bit woo-woo, a little bit like me. And they kind of feel very much a calling, and some of them will want to help people to kind of release their inner child or listen to their highest self. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. It's not going to make you any money. Nobody's buying, because people don't buy coaching. People buy the transformation of the emotion. Okay, so now, is that inner child work, is that higher self work really important work? Yes, absolutely. And that is part of how you would probably work together to get the transformation. It's not going to get them in the door to take out the credit cards. Trust me, I tried it for years. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I wish it did. Okay, right. So what would work for aspiration? So helping brand new coaches book their first 5 high-ticket clients in 90 days. Aspiration, bigger than themselves, making more money, time, urgency, and convenience. Bing, 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 bing. Okay, really important. Okay, convenience. So buying back our time, our energy. One of the things with coaches is we understand the root cause of what the problem is. And we kind of use coachy language like flow, inner critic, imposter syndrome, limiting beliefs. I hate that phrase so much. Like rewiring limiting beliefs, nervous system. We talk about all those things, and because it's ultimately what you need to work on. But 99.9% of the world have no idea what the actual F you are talking about. So our theory is if we get into flow, we're more productive and more creative. So we turn up to market and we say we help people get into flow because we know what that means. And it makes sense for us. Makes sense for nobody else. Okay. So from a convenience point of view, what would work? Done for you LinkedIn content that books sales calls while you sleep. All right. Fear or uncertainty. Some of the examples I see, and I know these people aren't making any money, is coaches that help people to heal their money beliefs. Now, are money beliefs and healing them a problem? Yes, they are. They are. The people that need to do that won't know that that's the problem. They will be seeing the symptom. The symptom is probably they are under earning. They are broke. They are on credit card debts. Speak to that. Then get to work with them and heal their money beliefs. But you won't even get to work with them if you tell them what their root cause is. That's not what they're dealing with. Meet them where they're at with the symptom. What would be a better fear or uncertainty model? So you could help small businesses avoid IRS or CPA audits with bulletproof bookkeeping. Keeping people out of jail, very lucrative. Very lucrative. There's a reason I use accountants every year to do my taxes. Is there software I could do it on my own? Absolutely. Do I want to be audited? Do I want to go to jail? Do I want to have to answer any questions? Heck no. Talk to my accountants. I'll happily pay for that. Okay, so the golden rule is if your business model, that thing you solve for a specific group of people, is an obvious, urgent, desirable, you are wasting your time and it's costing you money. Okay, so here's the uncomfortable thing that keeps most coaches and solopreneurs broke. They are selling concepts and not solutions. Now, it might sound beautiful and poetic and wise, but people buy results, not ideas. One more time. People buy results and not ideas. If you are not ending a pain, fulfilling a dream, saving precious time, or protecting and sort of comforting a real fear, you're making it way too hard for people to say yes. They won't even see you, to be quite honest with you. They won't even see you. So, and if you're wondering where the biggest money is, and I get asked that all the time, what's the most profitable niche? The most profitable niche or psychological trigger is aspiration. Tends to be the most lucrative because people dream bigger than they hurt. They'll pay more to step into their potential than just solve the pain. And getting people out of pain is easier to sell. So it really is, I always tell my clients to start off by selling pain-killing solutions, not aspirational solutions. Once you get to 100k or whatever the number is where you can keep the lights on and not worry, then you switch to aspirational. But to start off with, you want to be focusing on people in massive pain because they are desperate for solution. And what really works is if you can link aspiration and pain. And this is what I do. I should be a business coach. So I help people finally hit their first 10k months and then repeat them and then scale so they never have to go back to corporates. Because that speaks to aspiration and pain. If you want to build a business that grows year after year, focus on pain and desire. Okay, because pain is urgent and desire is aspirational and it builds a legacy. Clients who dream bigger stay longer. Okay, really, really important. Clients who dream bigger stay longer. They invest more. They become your biggest success stories. They become fans. They bring their friends. I had just yesterday three people that I'd never heard of. Again, I've got a tiny network, never heard of these people, never spoken to them, never commented on a post, never seen them, who kind of through word of mouth, who are currently working with other coaches, messaged me and said, as soon as I'm done with them, I want to come work with you. So and so was telling me about them. The best reason you want to do this, and the point that is your obligation, is because people become your biggest success stories and they bring their friends. Okay, so if you want to build a wildly profitable business, solve real urgent high emotion problems, pick a niche where people already know they have that symptom. You don't have to do so much education in terms of helping people realize they're in pain. Pick one where they know they're in pain. How do they know they're in pain? They're awake at 3 o'clock in the morning. Speak to that. Okay, so you don't want to get stuck educating people into wanting what you offer. You want to speak to what is obvious, urgent and desirable. You want to meet them where they already are. And it's all the emotional stuff. It's not the logic. Most coaches lead with logic. Human beings are emotional creatures who happen to think. We are not thinking creatures who happen to feel. Emotion, emotion, emotion. So meet them where they are, hurting, hoping, overwhelmed, optimistic, dreaming, and show them there's a clear, simple way forward. The best way to do that is through storytelling. And that's the real secret to selling. And that is the real secret to not only going solo, but staying solo. Okay, so remember, people don't pay for vague inspiration. Ignore all the viral content that is aspirational quotes on the side of bus stops. Those people aren't making money from doing this. They're not making money from doing this. If you can get your posts that are specific and speak to all those emotions in front of 300 of the right people. If 300 people said yes tomorrow, you couldn't cope. So don't worry about the numbers, worry about the impacts, okay? People pay for clear solutions to the problems keeping them up at night. All right, so if this episode hit home for you, share it with a fellow coach who needs to hear it. And if you, my friends, are ready to create a wildly profitable business on your terms by mastering both the strategy and the emotional skills that it takes, check out my coaching program. I am so confident in it, I guarantee you'll get your money back. And remember, just because you are going solo, it doesn't mean you have to go it alone. I've got you. Until next time, take care.